Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Let me get myself together here. This light just seems so harsh today. I don't know what's going on. For those of you who don't know who I am and you're just coming across this live, I'm Tasha G, the Transformation Guide. And what I do is I unapologetically share my healing journey that has been wrapped in emotional wellness techniques so I could heal from past pain, teach people how to treat me, and learn how to set boundaries. And what I do is I help dozens of women with the same thing, because at the end of the day, we definitely need to heal from our past pain, because we need to break generational curses. We need to be able to teach people how to treat us. We need to be able to take our power back, and we need to make ourselves a priority. All right. So I am starting a new series today, and it is all about that. It is time to unpause your life and make yourself a priority. So, hey, thank you for that heart. Thank you for coming in. I want you to share this with at least one person and come on back, all right? If you want to share it with 2 or 3 or 5 or 7, totally up to you. All right. So my question to you today is, how did you get here? How did you get to this point that you are not making yourself a priority? So I know for me, in my instance, when I was able to see that I was not making myself a priority and I was unhappy, it was after I became a mother, and I was a single mother. And I was just like, how did I get here? To this point of having to take care of a child by myself when I was in a whole relationship, and I really thought that I was going to have help. All right. So before I get into that, I just want to shout out Incapable Bondage. I was on one of her lives one day and she did a giveaway and I got this. And when I say this has been a lifesaver, like, I love it. I wanted to make sure I shouted you out on live Incapable Bondage before I forgot, because I love it. I use it every day. I have all this paper in here and I love the message on the front. Work hard, dream big. So I'm using this all the time. I'm using this all the time to help me get myself together. So thank you so much for this. So like I was saying, how did I get to that point, right? I was at a place and space in my life where I was a big people pleaser. And if you have been a people pleaser, please, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat for me. I've been a single mother for 15 years. I had a big spiritual awakening last year. That's what made me wake up. Insert dopamine here. Totally understand, and I can totally relate. It's like when you have somebody else that you're responsible for, that's when you start to become so aware. You know what I mean? And now I'm a mom of 3. I'm happily married. I've been married now for 10 years and been with my husband for 13 years. So being a single mom for me was very brief, but it was no joke. And it's like, once a single mother, always a single mother. It just makes you pause yourself. It makes you think that you are not important in your life because you have to take care of this person, right? But I'm going to tell you this. Unless you take care of you, you can't take care of anybody else. This is why you need to unpause and make yourself a priority. All right. If you know me, you know I talk about the bloom and growth mindset. And the bloom and growth mindset is based on these 4 principles that I have adopted to it. Emotional vulnerability, optimism, self-worth, and self-acceptance. These are huge. And unfortunately, as women, and especially when we become mothers, we put that stuff to the side and we just keep giving to others, thinking that we don't need to give to ourselves. So yeah, it definitely ain't a joke. Single mom going on 6 years now. Yes, mom's mastering money. I totally can relate. And what makes it even worse is that as time goes on and your kids get older and they start to go on with their lives, you don't want to feel the resentment, right? Like, I put my life on hold for you. Now you're going to go on and have your life and leave me. What am I supposed to do? Yes, emotional vulnerability, optimism, self-worth, and self-acceptance. And if you want to see me talk a little more about that, I did a live back in December called the 12 Days of Emotional Wellness. And I had some awesome moms on there, and they shared so much impactful stuff that, you know, I know it helped change a lot of lives. I'm a note taker, so I can screenshot making dinner. Listen, moms mastering money, I like you already. I got to make sure I follow you. So please make sure you follow me. So like I was saying, being a single mother, being in a relationship that seemed like it was headed nowhere, and just not even knowing who I was. You know, I realized that I had become such a people pleaser in that relationship that the only thing that I would do was just wait for him to make time for me. I want you to drop a 2 in the chat if you've ever been there. It's embarrassing, yes, but I've grown. and it's a part of my journey. And at the end of the day, it made me who I am. And I don't want anybody who's in my space and you're coming to connect with me on my page or do any work with me to be embarrassed or ashamed about anything that you have gone through, because you survived 100% of it. And at the end of the day, whatever you have survived through, you can thrive through. Incapable Bondage said that part, once they are gone, you have to then find out you've been holding yourself back. Yes. And I want to help you all bloom now, okay? Because we can't wait 20 years. We can't wait 15 years. We can't wait no time. You can't wait another day to put yourself first and make yourself a priority, okay? And speaking of making yourself a priority, that's what I had to do in that relationship. I had to say, you know what? I'm realizing that I'm an option instead of a priority. So it's time for me to move on. And if moving on means being by myself, I have to be okay with that. All right, Mom's Mastering Money said, been there, but thankful I grew from that, because baby, I was losing my mind. Girl, were we dating the same person? Listen, I gotta find out where you live. Are you from the Bronx? Because this is crazy. Isn't it amazing that you can go through things like this in your life? You can feel so alone and you feel like nobody understands you. And then you start talking about it and somebody is like, yeah, me too. Or somebody might say, hold my beer, I'm gonna make it worse. I'm gonna tell you my story. It's crazy, right? So that's why I love the work that I do. Probably he got around. That's what I'm saying. I know the feeling. But that's why I like doing the work that I'm doing with emotional wellness. So if you don't know the definition of emotional wellness, it is the ability to manage life stresses. Okay? You have got to learn that, because one thing life is going to do, it's going to life you. And it's either you're going to understand how to roll with it or it's going to roll right over you. And as moms, as women, we don't have time for that, right? So, something, I forgot to turn my ring off, y'all. I'm sorry. Let me do it now. I'm not going to be rude. Y'all are in my house. I don't want to have any distractions for you. There we go. Sorry about that. So, here are some things that came to mind when I thought about ways that you have gotten to this point where you have paused making yourself a priority. Number one, parent wounds. I want you to drop a 3 in the chat if you can relate to that. I have a mother wound and a father wound, but I feel like my mother wound is deeper because I was with my mother instead of my father, right? And I felt like she was not present, all right? So I want you to drop a 3 in the chat for me if you feel like you have a mother wound. It could be that your parent wasn't present. It could be that they were there, but they were abusive in ways. It could be that they passed on, so you didn't really get to fully have them there for you. But to me, the parent wound comes from not being supported emotionally. All right, because sometimes people can buy you all the things in the world, but if they're not there to emotionally support you, it truly affects you. And unfortunately, as women, especially if we're the strong ones, we push all that to the side and act like it doesn't bother us, but it will come out in other ways. I want you to think about this. You don't have to comment if you don't want to, but this is a safe space as far as I'm concerned. I'm non-judgmental. I want you to think about the way you treat your children. And a lot of times when you have a parent wound, you're going to be unbalanced, right? It's either going to be that you love your kids so much and you smother them with love because you didn't get love, or you can't even touch them anymore because you're repelled by them because you just don't feel it because you didn't get it, right? So what we have to do is work to find that proper balance, because we're the one that's in the middle. We are coming from the parent wound, but then we don't want our children to feel the parent wound. And that's a lonely space. You know, a lot of people don't think about that, and being in that lonely space of, I didn't get love when I was a kid, but I'm trying to give my kids love, is rough. It's really rough. So that's why I work on helping people with emotional wellness techniques, so that way they can become aware of how they're feeling and they can also have space to express it. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to feel like it's weird to touch your kids. It's okay to feel like you smother them, but you know that you need to lay off a bit. Mom's Mastering Money said, I smother mine, but they aren't old enough to hate it yet. They're too affectionate too. Oh, they're affectionate too. Yeah, my kids are 6, 8, and 16. And of course, the girls love it. They're 6 and 8. My son, he's like, if I ask for a hug, he'll give it to me, you know, but I give him his space. I know he's a teenager and he just knows that I'm here if he needs me. But when he was little, yes, I gave him all the love, because I used to look back and say, how could somebody not love a child, right? All right, something else. Ooh, Toxic relationships. We already touched on this a little bit. Toxic relationships, whether they're intimate or platonic, will take you out of here. You hear me? If you have somebody that is literally sucking the joy out of your life and replacing it with a lot of toxic drama, overstepping boundaries, it is not good. Mom's Mastering Money said, but at times I am touched out and can't stand any touches. Girl, mine give me hug attacks all the time. Ooh. Let me pause what I was talking about and talk about that real quick. I get touched out sometimes too, and my husband does too. And it was so weird because I thought I was the only one. So I used to never say anything and just be like, all right. And then I realized that's not good either, because I'm not honoring myself. And that's why I'm on this live today, because I want you to take the time to unpause and make yourself a priority. And it is okay to let your kids know when you're touched out. It's okay to let your partner know when you're touched out, because then that means that when you give your love, you're giving it when you want to give it. And you're not giving it in a people-pleasing way. Like, well, I don't want you to be mad at me, so yeah, you can have it. You know, that teeters on the self-worth, because you're more than the hugs. You're more than all of that. If you're in somebody's space, sometimes that can be good enough energy, but we've got to know that for ourselves. So getting back into these toxic relationships, let me tell you, a toxic relationship will put you into people-pleasing mode on a level of 10. It will have you doing things that you are so embarrassed and ashamed about, and that you want to keep a secret. I am telling you. Now, if for those of you who don't know what people-pleasing is not honoring your own boundaries and trying to show other people that you are worthy of being in their space and you're useful. Something I used to do. Whenever I went to a party, here I am, helping with setup, helping with serving the food, helping with cleanup, helping with opening the gifts and doing stuff. That's not what I was there for. If somebody wanted me to do it, they can ask, right? But here I am. Thank you for sharing. Here I am offering to do it. Why am I offering to do it when I know I'm tired? I know I worked all week. I know I probably didn't even really want to come to the event, but now here I am helping, and now I feel obligated to continue to help because I don't want anybody to think I'm a bad person. If you are dealing with people pleasing, please drop a 4 in the chat for me, because people pleasing is like a super bad addiction and you don't know how to stop it. But people pleasing comes from not fully knowing who you are. So you're looking for validation outside. And a lot of us are people pleasers because of things that had happened to us when we were younger, right? We're put in situations where maybe you're the eldest sibling. I'm an eldest sibling. So it's always been taking care of my 2 sisters, taking care of my babies, right? And I never wanted to let them down. I did my best, but it was very draining. I've been taking care of people since I was 12 years old. So I paused myself because I didn't want them to grow up the way that I did. So I worked to it was like working double time. Let me see what it is that they need so I can make sure that I give it to them so they're not in lack like me and they don't grow up upset. And, and it gets to be a lot, because now it's like, if you need me at any time, yes, I'm going to be there. Yes, I'm going to do. I don't ever put myself first to say, I don't feel like doing that, or I don't want to do that. I want you to drop a 4 in the chat for me if you feel like you have been dealing with people pleasing and you need some type of solution to help you. Okay. I'll give you a hint. One of the solutions is setting boundaries. Just say no. No is a complete sentence. All right. Something else that will have you pausing your priorities is when you're in that people-pleasing mode, you don't even realize how far you are in it, and it makes you come off as clingy or a smotherer. All right. This is mostly for relationships, and it could be platonic or romantic, because your friends can feel smothered by you. If you feel like you have to always have somebody in your presence all the time for you to be okay, that is not a good thing. You should be okay with your own company. I had to learn the hard way that I didn't like to go out by myself. Somebody told me one time, oh, you should go out by yourself and eat. I was like, I'm not doing that. And they were like, why not? My answer was, because I don't want people to see me out by myself. Who's thinking about me? Who is concerned about me when I'm out? That was me in my head thinking that if people saw me, they would think, nobody likes her. That's why she's eating by herself. Nobody wanted to come with her. She doesn't have any friends. And all of this comes from a lack of self-worth. I did not realize a lack of self-worth and a lack of self-acceptance. I did not realize the value that I had. I thought my value had to be tied into somebody else. Sis, where were you 4 years ago when I started my personal growth journey? I was still in mine. I mean, I'm still in mine now, but I am leaps and bounds past what I'm talking about right now. This is just for the people who are possibly, starting in the beginning. And thank you, Moms Mastering Money, for saying that, because that lets me know that I am on the right track with what I'm talking about. I want to make sure I'm getting people so they can fully understand, like, you don't have to live in that anger. You don't have to live in that fear. You don't have to live in that shame. You don't have to keep feeling like nobody understands you. So you're going to keep your mouth quiet, but you're triggered by every little thing. You should not be triggered by your kids calling your name several times. That is part of their job description. They are going to mommy you to the nth degree. You know what I mean? I know that's right. Yeah, you are. Thanks, Moms Mastering Money. You should not be annoyed by your partner saying that they need some space and feeling like because they just don't want to be around anybody right now, they must be personally not liking you. It could very well be the case, but more than likely it's not. They love you. They just want some space. Right? But we got to learn all of this the hard way, because if we are healing from either childhood emotional trauma or some traumatic situation as a young adult, whether it has been a relationship or some type of other abuse or trauma, we start to doubt who we are. This is something else that can make us pause our priority of ourself, because we don't want to deal with us, right? Why should you want to deal with yourself if somebody else told you you're crap or garbage or treated you as such? It's not going to make you put yourself on a pedestal. It's not going to make you think confidently of yourself that you can achieve things. And you know what happens? You start to go into survival mode instead of thriving. Okay? You will literally get up every day like a robot and just do the same movements, because you know if you're at least doing that, nobody's going to ask you, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay with you? How are you doing? And then if somebody asks, we already know what you're going to say, right? I'm okay. I'm fine. Now, I want you to drop a 5 in the chat for me and let me know if this is true. Please save this live. I love to share it in my FB group. Oh, of course, Moms Mastering Money. It will definitely be saved. And you need to give me some more details on that group, because I have some things for you all that if this is hitting, you'll definitely enjoy the emotional wellness information that I have. Okay, let me keep moving. Something else that you can be dealing with, and it's like a byproduct of going through toxic relationships and pausing yourself as a priority. You're uncertain of who you are because you're waiting for the validation from just being there with people. You think that if you show up in a room, somebody has to say it's okay for you to be there. Nobody has to say that you're okay to be there. You can say that you're okay to be there. Something that I do to enjoy spending time with myself is be grateful. Be grateful in knowing that I don't have to be here today. Every day that God wakes me up, it's an opportunity for me to do better than I did yesterday. I'm my biggest competition. I'm not worried about nobody else out here but me. I'm better than I am last year. I'm better than I am last month, because I keep looking forward and I have faith. And I know that God has something in store for me. And once I get out of my own way in thinking, because I didn't get love as a child, I was in a bad relationship, I have friends that manipulated me, I have people that did me wrong. Once I get all of that out of my brain and say, you know what? I take accountability, but none of that was my fault. I'll take accountability where it's supposed to stick and everything else can go wherever it's supposed to go. That's how I'm going to heal. That's how I'm going to go on and help others. And I'm so grateful that I've learned to teach people how I think, to teach people these techniques about emotional wellness, and to be able to have the discernment to be able to speak with someone and actually let them know where they're stuck. Some people are so stuck that they don't want to admit it. It's so embarrassing. It's so shameful. You don't want to let anybody know that you don't take care of yourself. But honestly, we can tell, not a lot of people, but I know I can tell, because after a while, you can only hold that representative up for so long. Okay? After a while, the way that you interact with people that you call your loved ones, it shows. If you don't believe me, look at my character, Toxic Mom, that I have. Y'all know Toxic Mom is crazy, and don't nobody like no toxic mom. because she has toxic tendencies, because she does not want to admit that she is hurt from not getting love in her life, not being accepted, being a burden. But this is what she thinks in her head, so it is being conveyed out, right? Okay, something else that I want to point out is that when you are waiting for other people to validate you because you have paused making yourself a priority, you're left unfulfilled because your energy is unbalanced. Okay, what you're looking for is someone else to give you what you need to give yourself. All right, and at the end of the day, as long as you make sure you're okay, everything else will work out. It is not anybody else's responsibility to take care of you. That's why you need to learn about boundaries if you already don't know about them. All right, that's where your responsibility for yourself ends and other people's responsibility for themselves begins. It is not your job to give your coworker a ride home 45 minutes out of your way every day. You did it to be nice once. Now you're doing it to be nice on month 7. That's a problem. You got to figure out what you really want to do. You do not have to go to the store for your neighbor every day when you're tired and you just don't feel like doing it. You can say no. That person needs to figure something else out. Now, of course, everything is a case-by-case basis. I don't know everything, and I know you're going to give me excuses, but they have this going on, they have that going on. The point is you have the power. You've got to learn to take your power back. You've got to understand that unless you take your power back, people will always run all over you, and you will continue to feel like crap, and you will continue to feel used, and you'll wonder why. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why you feel like that. Because you keep on pausing, making yourself a priority. Spring is upon us. It's coming, and it's time for you to bloom. And the only way you're going to get there is by making yourself a priority. All right? So if you visit my site, TashaG.com/shop, there are plenty of ways to work with me. You also have digital downloads that you can get for free where I cover some of these topics because I understand the importance of getting yourself together. Like, there's nothing like investing in yourself and then using what you find out to make yourself feel better. Can you imagine being able to get back more time in your day because you actually learned how to use the word no as a complete sentence? What about being able to have those tough conversations with people in your life about the way that they make you feel, but you don't shut down, you actually listen, so it's an engagement and you can come to a compromise? That's really what you need to do in your relationships and marriages. I'm just telling you. Because you may win some, you may lose some. Everything is not going to always be in your favor, but you got to figure something out if you're going to be in it. And something else you need to understand is that you can take back so much peace and energy from loved ones who drain you with toxic situations. You do not have to be tied to toxic situations. Stop going to them parties where everybody's getting drunk and at the end of the night there's a fight. You don't have to be there. You can say, I'm not going because I'm not dealing with the drama. You don't even got to give an explanation. You could just say no. So if this is something that you are interested in and you've been looking for ways to get this help, I am going live every night this week until Sunday at 7:25 p.m. And I'm going to be covering various topics in this subject. I am going to put a cover on this live in particular, so that way you'll see what I'm going to be talking about. No, I'm going to label this one with today because I don't want to get anybody confused. But this will be labeled with today's topic. And then I'm going to put up the flyer later. It's actually up now on my tweet. But I'm going to put it up again where you'll be able to see all the topics I'll be going over between now and Sunday. And on Sunday, y'all have got to tune in because I'm going to have some announcements and there may even be some giveaways. So if you are in the building, you will be able to participate. I would like for you to share this live with at least one other person in your life that you know needs to hear this. You unpausing and making yourself a priority again will change your life. If this is for you, I want you to drop some hearts for me on the side. Do you want a better relationship with your children? Do you want a better relationship with your partner? Do you want a better relationship with yourself? Can you imagine being able to wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and not hate yourself? Not hate what you see, actually at least accept it and then go on to love it. Like, the relationship that you have with yourself is so important because at the end of the day, you are who you spend the most time with. So you better enjoy and appreciate yourself. I love my hair like this. I love my skin. I love that I got a little bit of a mommy pouch, but I also love working out now because I didn't think I liked it. I used to be like, no, I'm not doing that. But in the last year, I just said, how can I talk to people about making themselves a priority if I'm not practicing what I preach, right? So I've been working on my relationship with my children. I've been working on my relationship with my husband. I've been working on my relationship with myself. I'm working out. I'm eating better. I lost 30 pounds, which is crazy to me. I've also worked on my craft. I'm stretching myself so my creativity can really come out and I can touch those people that need it. I don't want any woman out there to feel alone when it comes to mother wounds, when it comes to healing from past pain, when it comes to being a single mother, when it comes to being in a relationship that you want to save and you just don't know how, or when it comes to setting boundaries with people but you just don't want to be the bad guy. And the list goes on and on and on, but it's all about emotional wellness and teaching you how to handle life stresses so you can go on, protect your peace and energy, take your power back, and actually thrive in life. So thank you so much for listening to me tonight. I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow night. I will be here at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click the link in my bio, look around, grab the freebies, grab the downloads, and thank you so much for your time. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And don't forget, it's time for you to work on unpausing and making yourself a priority so you can bloom. Y'all have a good night.